Tansei, bonjour, Anin. Oh my gosh, are we ever excited to have Sage and Brandon with us in the studio at National Music Center? And we're going to talk about the history of the Powwow group and also their experience that they're having in the studio recording over the last, they're in day 4 now. And so thank you, gentlemen, for taking some time to share with us in your schedule. I just want to ask, first of all, maybe Sage, can you give us some history of Blackstone? I know that the Powwow Group formed in 1987. It's based out of Saskatchewan, and so that's a long history. And obviously, this group started probably before you were even born.
Yeah.
So tell us about what you know, what you can share about the history.
Well, Blackstone came from my dad's Muslim, his grandfather. His name was Blackstone. And, my dad and him used to have this one group. I forgot what they were called, but it's in Cree. And then I guess my dad's late dad, late Henderson Baskeman, just asked him, he said, how come you just don't use my dad's name? And so then I was Blackstone. So my dad automatically, just switched his name to Blackstone, and they started, and that's when they used the name, was 1987. That's when they started using the Blackstone name. And, and my dad and they really, they were inspired off of Red Nation. That's where they started to learn to make word songs in Cree. And that's how Blackstone started up.
1987 was an interesting time for powwow too, because you had a lot of powwow groups coming out in the late 60s, 70s. Recordings started happening in the 70s, and by the 80s, things are moving forward. The gatherings, particularly in Canada, were getting bigger. The powwows in Canada, and so that's an interesting period. And why was it important, do you think, for Blackstone to be started in 1987? What was the push to make it happen?
Well, it was just, for the love of singing. My dad, all my uncles that started out with Blackstone, our Uncle Dion. My dad and my Uncle Dion were best bros, and they started the group up together, and it was just for the love of singing, because it started from ceremony, sweat, sundance, they just loved to sing. And then I guess one point in their life they were gifted a drum that was hide. He said it sounded like flat, like hitting a cardboard box, but he said just for the love of singing, him and his cousins would sing on it and go set up. And that's how it started off. And, I know back then he would tell us too that groups wouldn't get paid as much as they do today. They would get paid like $200, but, that would be for the next trip to the next powwow. That money that they got would go in the gas tank and food for the guys and go sing at the next one. So yeah, it was a way different era, because for them it was like gas was so much cheaper, food was so much cheaper, and they would just use that to get to the next powwow.
And what was the balance of, like you mentioned, there was it was competitive, but what about the balance of the singing for a traditional cause as opposed to being a competitive group is. So it was there's a balance in there and different connections. So it's not just let's form a group. It's not just let's sing for traditional contemporary causes. Let's sing to go on the powwow trail. There's so much to it. So why did you maybe Brandon, why are you in Blackstone? What makes you want to be part of this group?
Well, when I first started singing with Blackstone, it was in the summer of 2016. And before that, I never really sang with much groups before. 2015 was the first time I actually started competing with the bigger names in the bigger circuit, I guess. But before that, I was always just singing Sundance and just going to Sundances all the time. The only time, because I grew up in Albuquerque, and so it's just, I don't know. The only time I came up during the summers was just Sundance time, and so like that's all I had time for and whatnot. Then eventually, how Facebook, everyone, they kind of like post videos and singing around and whatever. And that's kind of like where I kind of got discovered from Sage, because he was the first one actually to message me to like, hey man, we would like you to come travel with us this summer. So from there, like I was already like unsure, because like I was already singing with another like world-class drum group. Then like my first summer was with High Noon. And then so I moved on. I told Sage, well, like at first I told my dad, because my dad used to travel around back then too with Whitefish Juniors. And so from that to, I told my dad, I was like, Blackstone's asking me to sing. And I just remember he's like, you want to learn something. He's like, I would suggest you go sing with them. And before, like, I never cared who Blackstone was. Like, I was never a contemporary singer. I always liked the original style and, just straight style singing. So,
And that's
What's that?
interesting too. The role of social media on powwow groups today is major. I know, like we're seeing Fawn Wood get so much attention online. We're
yeah,
getting in,
she's a big,
over 1 million, reaching over 1 million people with traditional music. So how does that play a role, social media today with powwow groups, particularly Blackstone? What's important for you to do on social media?
it has like a big major impact, because before you'd have to travel, like literally travel to like hear someone else like sing or whatever, and like watch them perform at a powwow. Unlike today, you can just go on YouTube, watch, and then like the upcoming singers, you can just like easily discover like who can sing, I guess. And it's just a way easier way of finding new singers, because everyone's trying to I don't know, I guess just find their spot with someone, because that's how I was with social media. So like once I've started traveling with the guys, that's when I finally like knew like maybe I was meant to be here, or like why we crossed paths, I guess. Most singers will know like when you'll find that connection with certain drums, certain groups. Like you can go sing with like other bros from other drums and stuff, but it's like a home feeling when you find your spot where you're supposed to be. So like that's why I've been singing so long with these guys now since 2016. I carry on every summer, so it's just because it feels like home when I'm around the Blackstone drum group. So I think.
And you're like, you've been to Gathering of Nations, I'm sure, probably several times.
Uh-huh.
And when you see Blackstone and hear Blackstone, why does Blackstone stand out so much in North America, as on Turtle Island, as a powwow group?
I would have to say this. What makes them stand out is the sound, because when you go to some drum groups, sometimes some groups mellow. They sing mellow. They're like, but when I first got with Blackstone, it's funny. We always used to get heck for not singing hard enough every song, even if we're not getting judged. That was one thing they always pushed on us. Terry, our Uncle Rocky or Uncle Daryl, and they'd just be like, well, back then we used to sing every song like it was our last. And he's like, so that's what I expect from you guys, the newer generation. He's like, we don't want, if you want to just hum around, just stay home, and you can do that at home. But if we're going on the road, we're showcasing ourselves, you got to put out.
Yeah, because Dad's really strict about it. Like when we
Sage,
first,
what kind of things is he strict about?
oh, there's a lot of things, and that's that's what makes him the drum keeper, the head. Like I'm the lead singer, but you know, till this day, I still look at my dad as the lead singer, the head guy, you know, the head chancho kind of guy, because, you know, he's a dad, you know, like how dads would be, you know, always on you about something. He wants you to be better. He wants you to be better. He wants you to go further in life. He wants to see you succeed in life. And that's how my dad is. You know, there's a lot of things that when it comes to ceremony life, you know, we do everything that we're told. There's even times we don't have to be told. We'll just do it. And, you know, and that's how he's always been. And, you know, and we've never, like us, we're always taught not to talk back to our parents, no matter what the subject is, or even if you have an opinion. And, you know, that's how it was growing up with him. And everything on the drum, you know, it's taught from him, because he puts us in our place. You know, if we're getting too out of hand with, like, you know, not listening, not doing what we're told, you'll get put in our place, because it's just how he is. And that's why what Brendan was just saying, like with the singing wise, like if you're not singing hard, like you're gonna get yelled at after the song, like. But it's just like, it's not like yelling, but it's just like that mean tone, like, hey, you know,
The constructive criticism.
yeah, like if you want to hum and take breaks during the song, then you can do that at home. And so that's why, you know, we have a certain set of guys that go around, because, you know, they really put out every song.
There's, you know, there's so many powwow groups out there, and there is a difference between, you know, south of the border, the American border in Canada. There's definitely a different sound, and how would you define that different sound? Because when you listen to the powwow groups out of the States, very different than Canada. I want to say above that line.
Well, for me, like growing up, like I was born in Saskatchewan, but I grew up down in New Mexico. So like I got to, you know, watch all the States drums. Then eventually when I finished high school, I moved up here and got to hear like all the Canadian drums too. But like even before, like I'd still travel up here and go to powwows. But like to me, what I always thought was the pitch. The pitch was always different between the Canadian drums and the States drums. And yeah, that's the only thing I would really like pick out, was just like the different pitches and the styles, because like the teachings down there are totally different to what's taught up here. Well, not totally different, but there's some differences. So I kind of, yeah, that's what I've got, you know, growing up from both sides of the medicine line.
It's kind of when you say pitch, it's a higher pitch up here.
Mm-hmm. So like, yeah, like up here, I find that like drum groups or the singers can sing at a different, higher level. Like, I don't know, like a frequency, I guess, or something. But yeah, that's the only thing I could really pick off, is like the different pitches that they would, I guess.
And you have about what, 8 members in your group?
Well,
That's what travels with this, but I think we have like, I don't know, at least 20.
yeah, we have like 20 guys. Like, there's lots of us, but some guys are like kind of retired, and then there's other guys that stick local.
And you have females as well, as in backup around the drum circle.
Yeah, and it's my sister-in-law. Her name's Darian Uzachipi. She's from Standing Buffalo, and then I have my little sister Jolie Scabiro, and she's from Paul's First Nation, just where I'm from. And then there's my girlfriend. She's from Tsuut'ina Nation here, just east of or west of Calgary. And we have 3 of them. Usually, like my mom too. My mom's a backup, but you know, she stays home. She has work. My mom loves to golf, so.
And when you're on the powwow trail, when you're touring and doing shows, what do you enjoy about that? What makes that an enjoyable experience?
Oh, it's just, you know, it's just making memories. For us, it's always been about memories. Like, if we get invited to go to like the States, like Grand Ron or California, Arizona, like it's just for the drive, you know, because most of all of us, we just drive there. Because we like to stop at places we've never been before. Like you look at, like last summer, I went to Forks, Oregon, I think it was, and that's where they shot that Twilight movie, I think it was. And my girlfriend and my baby sister wanted to go see it, so we took the trip to go check that out. And when we go to all of these places, it's just making memories together. Like even on our ways there, like some of us will travel together and stop at famous places to eat, or
It's just more like creating that family bond, I
Yeah.
guess, that, and then like even just like going back to dad giving us heck, even just going new places, you guys make sure you guys go visit. Don't just sit around the drum. You guys go introduce yourselves, go talk, go make friends. We're not here just to sing. You guys got to enjoy the community, enjoy the people, whoever invites us, So like those are like just some of like the simple rules that he has, like the simple rules is what basically keeps his drum running for how many years, So like, yeah, it's just creating that family bond, that I like about traveling and just seeing new places, the different landscapes, it's more of the little things for me. It's not just like, oh, let's go to the Powwow and just go do this. It's the in-between part.
And what about the fans? Because I mean, you're multiple award winners. You're championship drum. You've won contests. And what's that like when you experience fans?
well, it's just like the fans we have, they're not like, like we're not like Justin Bieber or Drake where they come running up to us wanting a picture. Like our fans are like our friends, like family, like just distant friends as well, like people that we know, but they're like big fans of us too. And, I'm big, like I have lots of inspirations in my life too. Like I'm a big fan of like Bear Creek, Northern Cree, Black Otter, like all groups like that. I'm big fans of them because that's what I grew up listening to.
And what about you, Brad? When people are approaching you, how do you feel about that? As maybe as friends, rather than fans?
Well, like recently I had kind of like an experience because like I work at the Standing Buffalo School, so I'm an EA. So like in the fall time we took the kids to go do this little turkey trot thing, and then I was just standing in line, just observing my class, and there was a couple other schools there too, and I was just standing there waiting to get a hot dog, and all of a sudden I hear this little voice come up from behind me. He's like, "Hey, are you Blackstone?" And I was like, "What the heck?" So I turned around, and all of a sudden it's this little boy. He's just like when you see someone that you idolize or something, like that's the first time I ever seen like, I guess someone look at me in that way. And then I don't know, it was different because coming from a younger generation, I guess it hit different. It's just,
Yeah.
man, that's trippy. Like I was that kid once, looking up to these singers and stuff. And so like, I don't know, that was the first time I ever like got that public experience, I guess.
Yeah. Because that's what happens in Tsuut'ina as well. Because there's like,
Well, and I think that bond you have with the fans, with the friends out there, and the community, that's part of becoming champions. So, what can you tell us about maybe one of the awards that mean a lot to you that Blackstone has picked up?
For me, it would probably be the first album that I recorded with these guys. It was 2016, the same summer, Celebration of Life. And we won, what is the music award for Manitowoc that, I forgot what it was called, but we won the best contemporary Powwow album
oh yeah, now
for the Manitowoc Festival. And that was my first summer, so like that was my favorite, one of my favorite, like the only basically favorite recording we ever did. But yeah, that was probably the best, well, my favorite memory of winning an award, because that was my first time with the group, first summer, first album, and the first time I got like to be part of a recognition like that, I guess.
Yeah.
So you've been on the Powwow Trail, you've recorded, and that's what brought you to the National Music Center for the Bursary with OHSOTO'KINO. to record. And what's this experience been like for you, being in the facility and working with everybody at National Music Center?
You know, you got to be super thankful. You know, like it's just an experience that I thought I'd never have, and and to have like doing our songs here, like in a professional facility, and to have my little brother, he made a song last year that was a big hit for us, because like we're Cree, and he made a Lakota song, and it was for my niece, and we got to record it here, and man, it's just like, it's going so well, because we've always recorded in like basement studios.
Development, resiest thing you
Yeah,
can
like,
think of.
yeah, but to get this, like, it's like, I don't know, you just can't really explain it, but just be super thankful that like the group got
This kind of opportunity, and like you gotta thank Northern Cree because they kind of opened that doorway to like, because their recording last year was pretty good too, and that's, we're kind of just basically following behind them, and they kind of just opened this door to coming in like professionally, and that's pretty cool, I thought. And it's just totally different recording. Just, I don't know, just the atmosphere, I guess, is different. I even got lost in the museum across the street trying to get my way over here to the studio, but I was like, I don't mind, I'll check out everything.
I didn't even know you had to use these as
But yeah, it's been like an unbelievable experience, because I called my mom yesterday too, and she was checking on me, and I was like, Mom, I never thought I'd be recording in something like this. I was just staying in my room when I was a little kid. Got noise complaints from our neighbors because of me. So it's pretty trippy to be in here, or even just doing this interview. It's like,
it's
totally something
pretty
else.
surreal right now.
From what I heard, a little bird told me you guys aren't shy to use the microphones around with the recording.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about how you're capturing the Blackstone sound?
It's just like individual mics, like, because like Eric and Jeff put these mics in front of us, and they said right directly in front of us. So we were like, he was like, "Are you guys comfortable with that?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, most of our group were open to anything, because we've never been in a place like this. We never got to record with equipment like this, and like how they got because in most CDs we've ever done, they could never capture the sound of the drum. And that's what gets the attention, that's what creates that energy, is that spirit in that drum. And so like most recordings will never catch it, but when we did this recording, like they put mics under there, mics on top, and then mics in the back, and they just really caught that sound for the drum, because that's our boom, that's what makes, because the drum is the heart, right? And us as singers, we're just the veins and arteries to the heart. And so without that boom, it's not, you're not going to feel that energy. So, just shout out to Eric and Jeff, because, they really experimented with all the mics to get that sound of our group.
Does that make you play harder when, or does it affect your playing when you know that sound is being captured?
Well, like we said before, how my dad said, you got to sing hard all the time, if you create that energy, and all of us were passionate about it. Like, I don't think nobody in this world could ever take singing from us, because that's a love, an unconditional love with that drum and the singing and the connection to it. So, with all that work, the mics, to either way, no matter what, we're always going to sing harder and like push ourselves to a new level, like every single time.
Why is it important you've said it a few times about pushing that energy out there? What makes you want to do that?
I think it's the feeling the people get from it. Dancers, when they hear, just when I danced back then, if I heard a drum just sound off, when they say, "Take it away," and then boom, like just hearing like there's a certain sound that I like in drums, like, where it just kind of like boom, and it just like the sound wave just like goes out there, and I think it just, I don't know, that spirit just connects with everything. So like, and then just like how you're saying, like if the energy's not there, Terry, dad's there to say like, pick it up. You guys got to create it. You guys can't always rely, like,
Yeah.
don't always count on the drum. You guys got to like meet that energy halfway at least, to, I don't know, create that spirit or that energy to make the powwow or the people actually like feel good.
Yeah,
So-
like, because when you talk about that energy being out there, it's singing is healing in so much ways, like if you're like having a bad day or something, or if you're feeling down, and you hear that energy from that drum, that spirit, it lifts you up. And that's why we love to sing, because we want to go to communities and sing for the community, their ancestors, their grandfathers, the ill, the disabled, the elders, the children. We want to sing for people that need it, and so that's why we do it, to try and push that energy out there.
And there's a lot of like youth. We're seeing a wave of youth right now pick up hand drums and sit at the drum, and it's just growing. And why is that happening right now, do you think?
That's like the drum. The drum it has that effect on a lot of people, especially kids that grow up in this life. Like.
And like one teaching we were always taught is like, a lot of people call the drum grandpa or mushum. And like one thing I always remember Terry telling us is like, when you ask your grandpa something, your grandparents, it's highly unlikely they'll tell you no. So like that spirit of the drum is like a grandparent. So, it's going to pull you in eventually, because everybody will sometime make that connection, especially like Indigenous people. We have the drums part of everything. So I think it's just like, that, I don't know, that grandparent love, it's just going to pull you in either way. And I think that's what that connection is with the youth.
Yeah.
And, I remember when I was little and I first got my drum, and I was just like, holy cow, man, like, I'm going to be annoying. I'm going to sing every day.
And that's how it is, like, all the time, because, you look at the youth, and this is the kind of life you want for them, because, on our drum, there's nobody drinks or does drugs, because that doesn't belong around that spirit, and we always try to, encourage that to young singers that are up and coming, or youth that are just getting into it, like, no matter, like, that drum, he's going to take care of you, if you're going to travel far, he'll get you there and he'll get you home.
And like one story, for example, this one time we went and set up with our dad without him. We went to Wisconsin, and I don't know how it happened, but we only ended up just enough money to pay for our gas to get there and cover our rooms. After that, we were just flat broke. But I remember that Sunday night or that Saturday night, after the powwow, I was just like, man, I was like, what if we don't get in? I was like, we're kind of stuck here. And then I was just kind of like getting a little paranoid, because I was like, man, all the money's gone. And we all rode down in our Blackstone van at the time.
And we were far from home.
And I remember just before going to sleep, I turned and I looked at the drum and I was like, come on, Mushum, just get us home. That's all I said. And then, like, we didn't have our full crew, but somehow we pulled off, against the other, like, really good drums that were there too. And I don't know how we pulled off second, but we only had 8 guys, and all I did was just thank the drum right away, because all I remembered was what I said the night before,
Yeah, like that. See, like stuff like that, because Saturday night, like some of us were kind of slicing out, except for this guy. But I remember I was praying to the drum, and I offered my tobacco, and I just told him, I said, I don't care if we sound sucky, but as long as all my boys have fun, as long as we're just enjoying this moment, enjoying being around you, because, you brought us here. And I said, hi, hi. And then he said, his prayer. And then on that Sunday night, we get called for second place, and we're just kind of like blown away, like, no way.
We just like
So
looked at
that,
each other like, for real? Let's go then.
and like, just being brothers, just grabbed each other, and we're just excited going up there. And that's what paid for our, to get home.
And just like we don't go like expecting to like
Yeah.
win. Like we just, if we win, it's just all extra bonus for us. Like we don't care as long as we get to be around with the boys, joke around, laugh around the drum, go see the other drums,
Yeah.
And like,
the drum brothers.
so like that's like one of the things I was always taught, thankful for being taught, like the money being a bonus, not, oh, let's go. It's how much for first place here.
Yeah, like no matter the price, it's not about that. You don't look at a poster and say, "Oh, it's this much, let's go." But you just go because you want to be around your family, your drum family. You want to be around the whole Powwow family because that's a big family.
It's a small world, but lots of people.
Yeah, small world, but that's a big family though when you have Powwow people like that. Other drum groups that you call your drum brothers because you guys treat each other so well. And and just like to say that, just like what my brother said, if we place, that's just a bonus, But to us, it's what matters is that feeling, the drum, the energy, that spirit that just comes, that just feels so alive. It's what we live for.
When you have that, you're carrying, the drum that means so much to you and what it represents. And now you're in a recording studio. What songs have you selected to record when you have that, you have that passion and you have that history? What now you're in the studio and you have to pick the song. So what did you come up with?
This one was like the hardest because, we were supposed to record like 2 or 3 albums before COVID happened.
Yeah.
But all the plans for those albums fell through. And so we had songs from 2019 all the way to last summer to pick from. And that's like, shit, we had enough to do like, I don't know, like
we only had
a 2-part CD.
Yeah, we only did, what was it, 24?
24, and I think that's not even half.
Yeah, that's not even half the
songs
we have. Like all of our newest songs, like that's just half.
So this one was really tough to choose.
Yeah, it was hard to decide.
Terry was always like, oh, should we do this one? No, let's just leave that one out. Let's do this one.
Yeah, because there's like so many songs we have, because when you look at like Facebook, like the platform for our group, our page on there, we have so many new songs that everybody, loves to hear. So we went based off of that, trying to go with the songs that, everybody loved. And me, like personally, I love my brother's song because it's about my niece. And, and every time we go to a powwow, she's the one that sets the tone because she's so happy, like all the time. And so that's what kind of hypes up the boys and gets them really, happy because she's in such a happy mood all the time, and that song's about her. So when we sing that song, it's just like the rest of our songs, like they all just come alive.
So what can you share? I don't know if you're okay with me asking you this, but what are some of the themes that we can expect on the new album?
Well, we did a lot of new stuff that we've never done before.
Yeah.
It's like,
is it round dance?
Oh no, it's just strictly just powwow songs.
Straight powwow, okay.
But we have like, I think a couple tracks where we like acapella but without using the drum, and it's just vocalized it. And we never had a track done like that before.
Yeah, we never did acapella.
Even our Uncle Daryl too, Terry's brother, he learned a few songs on his flute, and they added that as background or as an intro. And there's just a lot of like new things that we've tried in the past 4 days or past few days anyways. We just put all our trust with Eric and Jeff, and whatever they wanted to do, we were just like down for it, because when's the next time we're gonna come back to something like this?
Yeah, that's why we're just like, like all of the recordings, you know, like the acapella, like we've never done that as a group. Like it's always been strictly powwow, strictly round dance. But, you know, this album, we trusted Eric and Jeff because they said, you know, you guys can try different things and we can do it. And then when you listen to the outcome, you're like just mind blown, like, holy smokes, we can do that. Like that's how good it sounded to us. And so we're just kind of excited for when it comes out because
To hear the whole finished master, it's gonna.
yeah, because we want everybody to hear it now. So that's how excited we are.
It won't compare to the other albums that were released.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they never did anything on the older albums either. It was just always just, let's just go jam. And then
I was trying to get a count in how many albums that Blackstone has put out, and it was hard to gauge because there's been it looks like different labels over the years. And
yeah, there's a lot of lost ones, I think, too. I don't even know. He would probably.
I don't even know. I'm with my dad like every day. Well, when I think last year I was with my dad every day, but I don't even know how much albums they have.
But they're out there. I know the CDs, the cassettes, now the online, the songs being shared on Facebook, as you said. So the music getting out there. This album seems to be in the pocket where it's like it seems like a good time to be recording this album. Would you say that your career has brought you to this point?
Yeah, I would say so and you know, we had since 2019, like my brother was saying, we had all those songs. And like, you know, when me and this guy, you know, we'd get so pumped after those songs because they're just so good. We just like, when are we going to record these? But then when we do a basement recording again, you know, everything wouldn't go as how we wanted it to. But to do this CD and hear it now, we're just like mind blown. Like, that's why we're so thankful for the opportunity.
What are your hopes for what this album will do for Blackstone?
Just to bring.
I'm hoping just, you know, to have more opportunities of doing different things, I guess, you know, as a group. And yeah, I don't know. I just hope it just opens some new doorways for us, you know, to kind of get to that newer level, I guess, or next level of singing. You know, like Northern Cree has their own Spotify playlist, and that's pretty awesome. Never thought you'd like see our Indigenous music like being platformed like that and stuff. So like it's cool, and it's just totally like new. It's just new for us. So
yeah, like that's, and just, you know, to make people feel good when the CD comes out, you know, just know that they enjoy our songs, you know. Like the thing I can think about too is like a dad playing that music while barbecuing for his family, you know, like firing up the grill and playing that music not loud and proud, you know, because that's what I've always wanted to hear. And then sometimes when I go different places, I'll hear them playing like our old albums. But this one is going to be completely different, you know, and I just want people to feel good about it, you know.
You got some tracks to pump you up. You have tracks to put you to sleep.
Yeah.
You know, just tracks to listen and chill to.
Work out to, you know, because it's going to be a good one, so.
Yeah, I think everyone will like it because we went off like, picking songs for this one, how he said, we went off the fan base. You know, every powwow we went to, like, you know, some people would come, a lot of people come talk to Terry on the side and be like, oh, who made this song, or that song you guys sang is awesome. And like, that's the one thing he always talks about. Like, as soon as we get to a powwow, First Intertribal, me and this guy will always fire out a bunch of suggestions of what to sing. And, you know, our dad's just sitting there like, nah,
different one.
Nah. And then he's like, oh, that one, you know, so-and-so likes it, or the people around here really love that song. So we usually just go off most of the time our fan base. So that's what this album really did. So
that's what gets frustrating too. Like me and this guy will go over like all of our songs since like 2016. be trying to pick out songs, and Dad will be sitting there like, nah, another one. We'll bring out this one. Nah, another one. So, there's times we kind of just go quiet, then he'll pick out the song. So, yeah, that's a good one. Sing that one.
You said something earlier about the importance of powwow bringing healing. Has the drum and being on the powwow trail, is that brought any form of healing to you individually?
I find it like,
Yeah.
it's like therapy, Some people go for runs. Some people go for walks. Some people do something else. I pick up the drum and sing at home. Or if I come to a powwow, I just needed to be around the bros, have bro time. And, even the girls will visit, all the kids will play. And, it's just, it'd be like more like kind of like a reset for you, just to like get yourself balanced again,
Yeah, there's a lot of healing the drum can do. And it's not like, like if you like break your arm and then we sing a song, it's going to come back together. Not that kind of healing, but, like just emotionally, mentally, like that drum, it helped you in so many ways, like for me, I went through something last year that, I don't talk about, but being around the drum, being around my dad, my uncles, my brothers, that really, helped me get to where I'm at today, and I've been nothing but happy for the past year now because of just the drum, being around the boys, my girlfriend, get a visit here and there with my son, and he's learning how to sing too. So that's, that's what makes you, that's what I mean about healing, because when you see your baby wanting to learn how to sing, that's something you dream of when he was just like, couldn't even walk or talk. And then now you see him that he's singing now. So it's a heartwarming feeling to see the next generation is coming up now,
And this is something too, like those teachings your father is offering you is something I could tell that you carry, and you're going to carry that with your family and your kids in the future, I'm sure. So,
yeah,
it's probably, you're so busy, you don't really you don't think about it as much, but I'm sure that those lessons are deep.
yeah. And because like I said, me and my brother here, we're next up in line, even with our other brothers, we're next up in line to take the group, because my dad's not getting any younger. My uncles, they're all busy, and that there's going to be times where that ceremony is going to call them, and it's just going to be me and him taking them around. So that's why, we, like us today, we know some of these things, but we do not know everything. We're still learning, and we're going to continue to learn till the next generation comes up, like our kids. So, and we're still learning too. So, but we try to carry on as much as what Dad taught us, and teach to other people, like kids.
And when Terry's around, I don't think there's not a day where we don't get lectured.
Yeah.
When we're around the drum and he starts talking, then, you're going to get a lesson.
Yeah, because no matter how old you get, he's always going to still be Dad. He's going to lay down the rules.
You've talked a little bit about the lessons. Can you share one lesson with us that you've learned about the drum? Is there something you can share with us?
One of the lessons is if you don't sing hard, you're going to get scolded in front of everybody at the drum. That's one. It's one of the lessons right there. And that's the one everybody fears. Or if another lesson, if you mess up during a song, like say if there's like a trick stop coming up and we're all going and then we stop and somebody goes over, you're going to get like the scariest look that you ever got in your life. And that's what he does to some of us. Like yesterday, we're in the studio, we're singing a song and my little brother goes over on a song and he looks at him, and then me and Brendan just kind of laugh, but we seen that look, and it's like the most terrifying look ever. Or if you mess up on a lead too.
Yeah.
If you mess up on a lead, It's the scariest look ever. Can't do it, but it's all I can say is that it's scary. And those are just lessons around the drum.
Well, you'll have to, maybe there'll be a point where you're going to write a book and tell everybody, here's the lessons of the drum.
Yeah.
That book would probably be an Harry Potter series.
Yeah.
And the, so how many tracks might we get on the album? Any idea?
I think we counted 25 or 24.
24.
24 tracks. Okay, certainly look forward to that. And the and I guess you've talked about Terry, your dad. Is how about your mom? How does she play a role in life on the powwow?
My mom, she's a singer as well. You know, my aunties, my mother, and my auntie Daphne Alexis and my uncle Arnold Alexis are the founders of Little Boy Singers, and it was an all women's group, all women and men. And that's where my mom comes into role, because me growing up to sing, you know, my mom taught me some songs. And then when I went through puberty, you know, when that voice changed and you can't hit that level, my mom would come sing with me, and, you know, she would start off my songs and tell me, you know, try and pick me up. You're going to have to get to that level one day. You're not going to be stuck in this puberty voice forever. So that's where my mom played a role, and, you know, and she made all of our outfits growing up too. Like I used to dance, my sisters, you know, and she made all of our outfits, and we travel with her. And then I think I was about 7 or 8 when she met my dad. And that's when our lives just, you know, were great from there, because he taught me about singing too. And then, but where my mom plays a big role in the group is, you know, sometimes when dad gets out of hand, kind of giving us heck, you know, mom will talk to him and calm him down for us. And like, that's who we all run to.
Or it'd be like, you know, her too, she'd give us heck, you know, make sure your dad's eating right.
Yeah.
You guys eat right too. You guys are going to be on the road all the time, you know. Don't be gambling your money away.
Yeah,
give your money to dad if you're going to be
just like
dad.
What is your mom's name?
Jennifer Paul.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I just got to ask about, we just got time for a few more questions. When you first came to the National Music Center, what were your thoughts when you know, maybe when you first saw the building and you walked in and everything else? What were your thoughts?
Holy, are we really here?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, are we in the late place?
Are we really going to record here? It's like, this don't look like a res basement.
Yeah. That's what I thought too. I was like, this ain't no basement we're walking down.
We ain't on the res no more, boy. That's all I thought.
We're taking an elevator, a big elevator too.
But you know what? You so deserve to be there and other places, because you've proven yourself. You've spent time on the road. You know, you've won champion drum awards. You've been you have fans out there. So, you know, you certainly deserve this and more, you know.
Well, I'm just thankful for the generation ahead of us. You know, all our uncles, Randy, Rocky, Daryl,
Leo,
like all of them, man, they're the ones that paved this road for us. And, you know, they're the ones that put Blackstone out there. And, you know, I'm glad that we can keep it going, you know. And the best compliment I think I ever got, that I've ever heard was, you know, that same thing, like first summer I was singing with them, like someone came up to Terry and was like, holy cow, man, you guys sound like Blackstone. You guys sound like the old Blackstone. You guys are hitting that sound that, you know, that they lost for a while. And, you know, like to me, I was like, holy cow, like that's something, like we're doing something right. So,
and what was that year we was that 2 years ago we went to Regina?
Yeah.
I think that was the best compliment for me too. And it was from our own dad, you know, like we just come blowing out of the gates with this new song, and just the way he looked at me and Brendan, he was like, since you guys always asked over the years, he was like, that song we just sang just brought back feelings from back then when we used to sing. You know, that's going to live with me forever, because there's some point in time where I thought like we weren't going to reach that level, but then we end up reaching it, my dad saying that and then dad saying that to both of us, that just, that's going to stick with me forever because I've always wanted to try and reach that level of old Blackstone.
Wow. Well, congratulations on reaching that, that pinnacle, but staying there is obviously a lot of work, and connecting to the grandfather drum as well. That's, I'd like how
Yeah.
you put it earlier. How did you say that connection was again?
It's just like he's the heart, and then all of us singers are the veins and arteries connected to that heart. And like, and that, when you tell people that, like, say if all of us are around, that's why me and him, we always got to make sure the boys are in check. We always got to make sure that they're feeling good because, like, without one artery, something can go wrong with that heart. So we always try and make sure that the boys have if they're feeling okay, if their voice is okay, or their mental or emotional health, we try and make sure that they're okay because it only takes one artery to kind of like, kind of mess it up. So, but that's what we were taught from my dad, our Muslims, that the drum is a heart and just all of us singers are just veins and everything connected to that heart.
Well, Sage and Brandon, I want to say thank you to McLeod for sharing your part of your story and your experience at National Music Center. The OHSOTO'KINO program you're involved with is the Bursary is just, I'm so glad it exists and that it's led you that path to that place. So just thank you so much for sharing a little bit. We appreciate your time, your energy, and what you're doing for the youth and connecting to that old, beautiful sound that Blackstone had. And when I say old, I mean that in a very respectful way. So, so thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been an honor.
Hi.